Hello and welcome to the Rose Rehash. I'm Jared Freid. We are here every Tuesday night after the Bachelorette to recap the show and give out awards. Please excuse me. If there's any tech difficulties, please excuse me. I'm coming from an undisclosed location with bad Wi-Fi. Thank you, Mom and Dad. So let me just let you know off the top, if we have any tech stuff, we've been working around the clock. Brandon, are you here?
Hey, Jared, what's up?
There he is. Great to see you, Brandon. We're
always a pleasure.
We're doing a lot of troubleshooting tonight.
It's crazy, but listen, what a insane episode.
Insane episode. We're going to get straight to the recap. It was a classic Bachelorette episode. It was one of those episodes that, you knew a rose ceremony was coming. We were running heavy. We were running heavy on the show. We were literally sitting there with these extra people. Tayshia had only had one rose ceremony, so we had these extra people that we've become accustomed to because of the Claire season. So due to the Claire season, there are people that have been on this show for what feels like 7 months. Dr. Joe had been on this show so long without speaking. I think he went on 3 dates and we never saw him on camera once. They let him, that was it. They showed one picture of his grandpa and that was it. So we had a lot of people that we had gotten to know just because they've been around, but we knew a rose ceremony was coming. So it ends in a bloodbath. But let's get to the episode. We start out, Chris Harrison comes out in his finest paisley. Chris Harrison looking more like a dad who just got divorced from his wife, who he'd met in college every episode. Every episode, Chris Harrison looks like his kid just went to college and his wife and him were like, listen, now that the kids are in college, I'm going to wear New Balances and paisley shirts, and now I'm a divorced guy. That's what Chris Harrison looks like. He comes down and he's like, what's up, boys? And he alerts the men that didn't get to go on a group date last time that they're going to be making up love songs for the opportunity to get one-on-one time with Tayshia. That is the premise. At this point, and we're going to get to this a couple times during this episode, we're starting to realize they're running out of things to do. Because there's not as much drama and because there's no traveling, there's no going to Mexico or Europe, now they have to really use the confines of the La Quinta Hotel, which the La Quinta is not having a good day. Every time they show the pool, and can they put a towel on one of the pool chairs to make it look like you would want to stay there for 5 minutes? Every pool chair looks like it's there after the end of the world. It looks like a zombie apocalypse happened, and then they this is the remains of what used to be a great hotel. So he gives out the orders that they're going to do love songs. And if we're going to look at highlights from the love songs, Bennett rapping was quite a decision. I mean, Bennett, the beauty of him is that he knows exactly the part he's playing. Bennett is purely here for Bachelor in Paradise at this point. Bennett is trying to get to the next show. I don't think he can be the Bachelor, but I do think he can be Bachelor in Paradise and have a huge career there. And I think Bennett knows it. He's like, oh, we're going to rap? No, he goes, we're going to do a love song? I guess I'm rapping. And he knows Harvard guy rapping. We all want to watch it. It's going to get him screen time. The producers are going to go, the producers are going to do a mini high five to each other, being like, can you believe Bennett Andrew the Third Jr. is going to rap? And then they got that moment. So he knows what he's doing. Damar does a whole Cafe Mocha thing where the lyrics were so specific that it felt like he worked at Starbucks for 10 years. Like he had such lines in there that he's like, you're my cafe mocha sweetheart. You cost $9.95 as a venti. I can give you with whip. Like it felt like he knew, like the lyrics were just too in depth, but I liked it. Kenny, the boy band manager, obviously learned nothing from the boy band. And then you had Ivan went really personal. Ivan has made a decision to be super personal, to get to know you guy. And it worked. He wins the one-on-one date. Ivan and Tayshia have a one-on-one date. They do a Netflix and chill date. This is a date that every woman would want. It's the date that every woman writes about on her Bumble profile. I'd like to go out on the weekends, and I just like a night on the couch in sweats. This was the night on the couch in sweats that every lady wants. They order room service. And there was a point where it's like, what is this board game closet that the Bachelorette brought to the La Quinta? The La Quinta must have the most thorough board game closet, because they start bringing out Twister, they're bringing out hula hoops, they're playing Skip It. And it's like, wow, again, another moment where you're like, they are running out of shit. If they play one more game of run around the hotel and do a scavenger hunt, we're going to be watching, it's going to be Groundhog's Day at another point. Her and Ivan have this great conversation. They seem to connect. They watch old family pictures of Tayshia, and there's a moment where you go, how does Tayshia choose anyone else? How is Ivan... What's so strange is that we've already had this experience with Claire and Dale, where Claire and Dale just run off and fall in love. There is a point where you go, Ivan and Tayshia have talked more and have had more in-depth conversations than Claire and Dale ever had. How isn't Ivan so far ahead? That is something to notice. I have a feeling that Ivan is going to be this people's choice, because right now he's said everything right. He always turns the camera lens onto Tayshia. He's always about her. He talks about his brother who went to jail and his niece and his nephew and all that stuff. And then he goes, but what about you? You seem to be. And it's like, Ivan is what my mom would call a mensch. And I think Ivan right now, if he doesn't get chosen by Tayshia, we're looking at the next Bachelor or someone that the audience is going to cheer for, because it's weird that we haven't had, now that we've seen someone move on so quickly, why isn't Ivan way ahead? There's something else. There's someone else out there. It seems, and we're going to get to that later. So Ivan and Tayshia have this amazing date. They order room service. There's an ice cream that is literally the size of the ice cream looked like they could have gotten on top of it and slid down it to then eat a cherry off the top. It was the biggest ice cream, and it's like, who's ordering this? Who gets to eat that afterwards? What are they going to do? Do they just throw it in the garbage after? Don't they know there's a global pandemic where like half the world is out of work, and you're just like, here's your ice cream, none for anybody else? I hope they took a lactate pill. If I even smelled that ice cream, I would run to the bathroom to shit my pants. So Ivan and Tayshia have this great night together, sweats, Netflix, and chill. We come back to the house, and we're going to have another group date. So the group date is going to be a scavenger, a truth or dare obstacle course or some sort. They basically took truth or dare, and they just turned it into some sort of scavenger hunt. The rules, not important, but they're in teams of two. The whole date makes no sense. I think this was all a vehicle to bring Becca, who was a former Bachelorette, and Sydney onto the show. Becca is best known for dating Garrett and then recently breaking up. Becca, at that point, truth or dare, Becca should be asking hard truths. Becca dated Garrett, and it's like a famous thing that they got together, and she saw this Instagram activity that he was like some sort of anti-everything guy. So it's like, why wouldn't Becca should be sitting there like, so what are your feelings on immigration? Do you have any thoughts on the election? Who did you vote for? It was strange that Becca wasn't more hard up from hey, I've learned a lesson from my season. Where was that moment? So they do this whole scavenger hunt. They're drinking smoothies that taste bad, and they're getting signed by Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison's eating, crab legs and stuff. And we leave that, and we go to a date, and they have time together. Tayshia does a really good job of giving everyone their time. I think that's a big thing. Tayshia kind of goes around and does and everyone gets their due. She's done a great job. And there's a piece of me that thinks the producers are kind of in on it, where they're like, man, we've kept these guys secluded from the world. We made these guys We made these guys, what's it called? We made these guys, quarantine for 2 weeks. We put them on a show with Claire. She was awful. Now we bring in Tayshia. They've been here for way longer than we thought they'd be here. And I think they're right now just trying to give them all a little bit of time on camera, because Tayshia gives them each like the most thoughtful moments. And this is also to say that Tayshia's great. She gives them all like a legitimate moment to have their own date with her. And so we end the cocktail hour portion of the Truth or Dare date, and she's gonna give out a rose, and it's between Bennett, Blake, and who's the last guy? I think it was Bennett, Blake. There was a third. Who got the rose? Somebody got the rose. Brandon, do you know who got the rose in that case?
It was Zach.
Do you have it?
Zach.
It was Zach.
Zach
out of nowhere. Zach, who looks 50, got the rose on the date, and they Zach. I guess if we were gonna like do a top 10, Zach, Ben, Ivan are all in the lead for having good, and then you have Brandon from Boston with the divorce. So they all four of those guys seem to like connect the best with her. I wouldn't say that those guys are the most fun to watch on the show at all, though. So Zach gets a rose, and now we move on to Ben and Ed saying, I am yet to get the time. I want the time. And this is something that happens on The Bachelor or Bachelorette a lot, where they go, I'm going to take it upon myself to go find this person and have a moment. But then the way they edited it, it was Ed and Ben both searching it out, going to find a room, and you're like, oh my God, are they going to show up at the same time? Are they going to end up at the same room? It turns out Ed goes to the wrong room. He ends up at Chris Harrison's room. Chris Harrison opens the door like he's Tayshia's dad. He's like, what are you doing out so late? Well, why don't you come in and have a drink with me? Let's talk about your career aspirations. Ed goes in. They have a drink. Ben finds Tayshia in this weird game of let's find the girl. He knocks on the door, and him and Tayshia, and Tayshia seems like she's waiting for him to be there. She's got the tangerine sweats and the crop top on. Nobody has ever looked that good before going to bed. If that were me, I would answer the door like this. Hey, what are you doing here? Like, the fact that Tayshia has a full face of makeup, full, beautiful outfit. Her hair's perfectly in a bun. You're like, okay, she knew something was coming. This was pushed along by producers. Her and Ben have a makeout session. And Ben is I don't really, like, when I watch Ivan on a date with Tayshia, I go, I get it. They're talking. They seem to have a lot in common. Ben goes on the date. Every time he's with Tayshia, it feels like he's feeding her lines. This whole time was about apologizing that he never took a moment with her the last episode. If you remember last episode, Ben tried to steal her away, and she said, no, I've already run out of time. I've already spent all my time shaving off Noah's mustache. So Ben is like, see, I'm going to show up. And now he's using Claire's old catchphrase. He's like, I'm going to show up for you. Don't you worry about me. I know how to be now. And then they're taking the glass, and they're wrapping it around each other's hands, and they're taking sips of champagne with strawberries. And you go, okay, Ben, it's a little too on the money. You're doing none of this feels you. With Ivan, yes, it's cheesy, but it also is like there's moments of like learning about him and where he's come from, and they seem to have these really personal interactions. And with Ben, it feels like he's just playing the game correctly. But that's a personal opinion. Now we leave that moment. We're going to a rose ceremony. Okay, now we're going to lose some people. We go to the rose ceremony, and we see that Noah has been wearing his rose for what seems like 3 weeks. He's wearing the rose. He already has a rose. Noah goes to Tayshia, and he gives this story. Let me read the words exactly. He says, people are saying you gave me the rose just for show. Now, when Noah brings this up, when you have drama on the show, you usually know what the storyline is leading into the drama. That's usually how you know it's to be played. You know what's going on. So when Noah brought this up, you're wondering, where is he getting this storyline from? Because not once did we see a guy accuse him of that. Because if a guy accused Noah of as he put it, getting the rose for show. That's an accusation of Tayshia and Noah. That's an accusation of Tayshia playing producer and not being on the show for the right reasons. So it's actually offensive to Tayshia, which is why she took it so hard. And Noah's like, when he says something like that, I think he thought, this will make everyone look bad. This will get her to get rid of the people who don't like me. But the way he said it, it wasn't true enough. He may have the assumption that people think he doesn't deserve the rose. But when you say that, if you're going to go to Tayshia with, hey, people think I don't deserve the rose, that's a different story than, hey, people think you gave me the rose for show. Now you're telling Tayshia that guys in the house are accusing her of not being an honest bachelorette. So Noah made a classic mistake of trying to create some sort of drama out of nowhere where he thought he had the drama. He doesn't have enough drama to go to the Bachelorette with. So Tayshia walks away from him. She goes to the house and she's like, what the hell's going on? You guys are saying I'm giving away roses for show. And they're all like, wait a minute, what? We might, and you could see it. All the guys were like, we don't like Noah, but it's not for that reason. And you could even tell because Easy was like, whoa. And Easy's like my barometer for the whole season. If I see Easy kind of blow up, I go, yeah, something is amiss. And so Tayshia leaves the room and they go, hey, Noah, they go, who was the last person to talk to Tayshia? And Noah goes, me. And you're like, they're like, what did you say? And he's like, I said that you guys thought she gave me the rose for show. And like, when you see the whole house go like, kind of like, what are you talking about? That's when you know this guy's lying, because they're all in a competition, but they're all in a competition where they're trying to do a gentleman's game. You're trying to do, hey, it does seem like these guys do genuinely like each other. And this guy, Noah, is not well liked by a lot of the guys in the house. But then in that moment you go, yeah, he is here for other reasons. And you got to hand it to Bennett. Bennett laid it out straight for him. He goes, she's not going to end up with you, because he knows Noah's there for fun and games. He knows that Noah's going to be a Bachelor in Paradise guy that he's going to have to deal with a few months from now or whenever they do a Bachelor in Paradise episode. So the episode ends with Noah already has a rose, so he's already like past the rose ceremony, and we lose some major players. Dr. Joe gone. See you later, buddy. We loved you. We didn't even get to know you. Chazen is gone. Chazen had a huge moment last episode. Then all of a sudden, nothing this episode. He gets one camera interview and then he's done. Kenny, the boy band manager who loves unbuttoning his shirt, we basically only saw him make facial reactions this whole season. And then Jordan's gone, who had a small moment, but that's about it. So that was our episode. It was a fun episode. We got a lot here. It's setting up the Noah drama. Let's go to the awards. Let's play the Batches. Okay, so I'm going to give out roses to my favorite characters on this episode and divorce papers for the worst ones. The roses are here. The divorce papers are here. Let's start with the roses. Got to give it to Bennett. Bennett with a fantastic episode. Bennett telling us that he broke off an engagement, kind of hinted at, he kind of broke character tonight, which was interesting. He had a moment with Tayshia where he looks at her and goes, yeah, I don't really know if I can talk about that. Like that moment where they had that in the in the closed captioning, you go, oh, Bennett was close to giving us an honest moment and breaking the character. But it was interesting to learn about him breaking an engagement. It makes sense considering financial guy, 35, older dude. What's he doing on the show? If you leave an engagement, I'm pretty sure you're like, anything's game. Let's go on The Bachelorette. Why not? The second set of roses is going to go to Tayshia. Tayshia was awesome. Tayshia gives all these guys time. She gets the drama. She goes straight to the group. She doesn't want to be known as some, that every date with her seems genuine and nice. Big Tayshia fan. Last one's going to go to Riley. Riley legitimately brought out a contract saying that him and Tayshia are officially boyfriend and girlfriend, which how many women watch this show and were like, that's a good idea. That's a better option than the what are we talk. Oh my God, thank goodness. This is what This is what I've been looking for. Riley should be selling those contracts, should be put up a PDF that people can print out and, on his Instagram. Let's give out divorce papers. I got to give the first set of divorce papers to Ben. It's just coming off cheesy. He's doing the show up thing. He keeps repeating it. It's like he took all of Claire's old show up paperwork and he's now using it. It just came off that he is checking boxes, so to speak. But he does have a connection with Tayshia. A lot of French kissing, a lot of makeouts. The next divorce paper to Noah. Noah, his face told you the story. He knew that he was stirring the pot. He knew he messed up the minute, and then he dug in deeper. He's like, well, a lot of you said, and you knew he went in with this much evidence and got caught. He got caught. He last week he was a hero. This week he's a zero. And that happens on The Bachelorette all the time. The last set of divorce papers has got to go to Blake doing his orgasm noises during the truth or dare section. When they say, hey, make orgasm noises, you want to do them real enough that people know you've had sex, but not so real that you're like, is that the noise he makes during sex? Blake literally put a leg up on the table and started humping. Like, dude, you didn't even need to do that. You just had to make the noise. Like, I can make like if that were me, I would have made the real orgasm noise. I would have made like the male orgasm. Like that's what I would have done. Like at least be fun with it. Blake, when it edged into realism. That's our Rose Rehash. We're here every single Tuesday after The Bachelorette. We'll be back next episode. Also, we got new merch, Mumsy t-shirts. We got There's the Time and Temperature t-shirts. Go shop.jaredfreid.com, shop.jaredfreid.com. Go. It's in my Instagram bio. Go check it out. We'll be back next episode. Boom.